Animal construction, nests, webs, tunnels, courtship displays, is typically treated as instinctive and therefore simple. These examples demonstrate otherwise. In each case, the structure solves an engineering or aesthetic problem that human researchers identified only after the structure was already being built, and in several cases the animals solve the problem better than current human engineering does. The white-spotted pufferfish, Torquegener albomaculatus, was first observed in 1995 off the coast of Japan. Circular geometric patterns, 2 meters in diameter, carved into the sandy seafloor at 25 meters depth. The patterns appeared repeatedly in the same area. For 16 years, nobody knew what made them. In 2011, researchers discovered a 12-centimeter pufferfish in the act of constructing one. The male works continuously for 7 to 9 days, using his fins to carve radiating ridges from the center, then collecting shells and placing them in precise positions. The completed structure is a spawning ground. Females inspect it, and those that choose to spawn deposit eggs at the center. The radial ridges dissipate water currents and protect eggs from being displaced. The shell decorations correlate with female preference. The male abandons the structure after mating and immediately begins constructing a new one. The design was not known to exist until 30 years after the species was described. Sociable weavers, Philoteris socius, build the largest colonial nests of any bird, permanent communal structures that can be 6 meters high, 7 meters wide, and house up to 500 individuals in approximately 400 separate chambers. Individual chambers are used by a pair and are structurally insulated from the rest of the nest. The exterior is thatched with coarse grass stems arranged to shed rain. The entrance tunnels to each chamber point downward to prevent snake entry. Internal chamber temperatures remain stable at 7 to 8 degrees Celsius warmer than ambient in winter and 10 degrees Celsius cooler in summer, a passive thermal regulation system maintained without any external energy input. Nests are maintained and expanded continuously over multiple generations. The oldest confirmed active nest has been in use for over 100 years. The nest's weight eventually causes the supporting tree to collapse, whereupon it is rebuilt on a new tree. Termite mounds, built by Macrotermes michaelsini and related species, maintain internal temperatures within 1 to 2 degrees Celsius of 30 degrees Celsius despite external temperature swings from 5 degrees Celsius to 42 degrees Celsius. The mound contains a network of ventilation conduits connecting warm interior chambers to cooler outer flutes, driven by convection from the heat generated by the colony, which includes both the termites and their fungus gardens. The system is not rigid. Workers continuously open and close conduits in the outer mound wall in response to temperature, humidity, and CO2 measurements. The total CO2 metabolized by the colony requires complete air exchange every 24 hours. The ventilation architecture of Eastgate Center, a commercial building in Harare, Zimbabwe, was directly modeled on termite mound ventilation. The building uses no conventional air conditioning and maintains stable temperatures with 90% less energy than comparable buildings. Trapdoor spiders, Tenosidae family, construct hinged doors for their burrows that are so precisely calibrated they close by their own weight when released. The door is made from soil, vegetation, and silk, laminated in layers, and attached to the burrow entrance by a silk hinge on one side. The weight distribution is precise enough that the door falls closed from any angle. Some species add tiny pebbles or sticks to the inner surface of the door to use as grip during forced entry, holding the door shut from inside against a predator attempting to open it. The female spider rarely leaves the burrow after construction. She can live in the same structure for up to 20 years, maintaining it continuously. The silk hinge does not lose elasticity over this timeframe. In experimental removal tests, trapdoor spiders rebuilt functional doors within hours. Bowerbird, Tilanorhynchus violaceus and related species, construct elaborate structures, bowers, whose sole purpose is aesthetic display. Male satin bowerbird collect blue objects, feathers, berries, plastic, and arrange them at the bower entrance to match a color preference shared by females. The bower itself is architecturally precise, 2 parallel walls of woven sticks forming an avenue, with an open viewing court at one end. In the court, males arrange objects in a specific gradient, smaller objects near the bower entrance, larger objects farther away. The gradient creates a forced perspective illusion. From the female's viewing position at the entrance, the court looks uniformly sized, but makes the male appearing in it look larger than he is. When researchers experimentally altered the arrangement by reversing the gradient, males corrected it within 3 days. The illusion requires understanding of the relationship between the viewer's position, the object arrangement, and the perceived result, a spatial cognition task researchers classify as referential perspective taking. Weaver birds, Ploceus cucullatus and related species, construct interlocking knot structures from grass blades that do not rely on adhesive materials. The male builds the nest in a specific architectural sequence. An entry ring is constructed first, followed by a helmet of woven grass, then side walls, then a ceiling, then an entrance tube below. Each layer locks the previous one in place. If the sequence is disrupted, if a researcher removes a partially built structure and reassembles it out of order, the bird cannot complete it and will dismantle and restart. The completed nest holds several kilograms of weight relative to its mass and can withstand sustained rain without collapse. Nest building quality directly predicts male reproductive success. Females inspect nests before agreeing to mate, testing them by pulling on individual strands. Males that build low-quality nests do not breed. Caddisfly larvae, order Trichoptera, construct portable cases from available materials, sand, gravel, leaf fragments, or twigs, which they carry and extend as they grow. Each species follows a characteristic construction pattern. Agapeta species use only fine gravel. Limnephila species use plant fragments arranged in specific geometries. Some species sort materials by size before building. The cases protect the soft-bodied larva from predation and maintain an internal current of oxygenated water through the larva's gill movements. The adhesive is a silk produced from labial glands. In the 1980s, artist Hubert Duprat provided caddisfly larvae with gold flakes, opals, and rubies instead of natural materials. The larvae build cases from these materials following their standard architectural rules, producing wearable jewelry. The behavior was not altered by the change in material, only the substrate changed. The red ovenbird, Furnarius rufus, builds a domed clay nest roughly the size of a football, with an interior chamber separated from a vestibule by a partition wall that forces intruders to navigate a 180-degree turn before reaching the eggs. The nest weighs up to 5 kilograms and is constructed from clay pellets mixed with grass and hair, applied in layers and allowed to dry between sessions. The interior walls are smooth and hardened to the point where researchers have used pickaxes to open them. The structure is thermally stable and mechanically resistant to rain and wind. Nests in exposed locations on telephone poles have survived multi-year use. The nests are not reused after the chick fledges. The pair builds a new nest each breeding season. In Argentina, the ovenbird is the national bird and is considered a symbol of hard work. A pair builds a new home and raises a family in it annually. These structures solve real engineering problems: thermal regulation, current management, predator exclusion, structural load bearing, using materials that cost nothing and require no manufacturing infrastructure. In several cases, the solution is better than the human equivalent at the same energy cost. Tomorrow's animal is the one nobody talks about, but probably should. This channel posts a new animal fact video every day. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one.